as you may have heard if you were here in the first meeting, took a little bit of a break from the business. I qualified Diamond in 2006. And after that, I and Pramilla, we took a break. We moved overseas to Thailand. Why did we move to Thailand? Because at least in Southeast Asia, it's probably the best lifestyle you can get. The beach, the climate, the food, everything, just unbelievable. And we had an amazing 8 years there. And just a beautiful life. I mean, this business did everything that it promised for me. My dream was to go Diamond and do some of the things I wanted to do. And that's exactly what we did. Initially, we had a goal to do this for maybe a year or two. But we got set in a comfort zone. Our first child was born in Thailand. A second one came along, also born there. And I figured out that it worked very well to at least maintain my business doing this. And we had just a great time. Almost a dream, spending time with the kids. I'm thinking about that life now. It's very different from what I'm doing currently because now we are back driving the business again. But, I just look at that life. I mean, time became just a floating concept. When you don't have enough things planned in a day, you don't get much things done. You're taking the kids to the park, watching the rabbits for 2 hours, taking them back. And then, Pramilla tells me, can you go and buy some broccoli? Of course, I go and buy some broccoli. Come back. Of course, the broccoli is wrong, because I don't know, I just pick broccoli. Broccoli is broccoli. Not for her. No, it's wrong. It's yellow, whatever. Should be, So then, okay, Cora, I go back and replace the broccoli. We have dinner. 8:30, go to bed. Get up early in the morning. Just unbelievable life. Beach every day, just unbelievable life. But, at some point, all of us want to grow. We want to stretch. I started to feel that, why not just take the business to another level again? And that was a process that took a few years for me. We started to discuss what should we do next. We were thinking about maybe moving to Australia. That was one option. We were thinking about Sweden. We have a place in Sweden. We'll see pictures of that later. It's beautiful. That's a very logical option. Sweden is a great place to live. And then, of course, India, which makes, sense from many points of view. Our close friends are there in the business. And our business is there, most of it. So we made the decision to move back. And exactly 1 year back, on July 1st, in fact, last year, we moved back to India to build a business. And we are back there. And I learned a lot in the last 1 year. I think probably the most important thing I learned is to start to apply some of the things that I already knew. So what I'm going to speak to you about is nothing that you don't already know if you are in this meeting. In fact, you know it already. I mean, how many of you have been to a meeting? And then, you have been to a meeting, obviously. You've been to many meetings. This whole business is about attending meetings, business previews, LOS meetings, weekend seminars. And how many of you have been to a meeting and you come out of the meeting and it's like, yeah, what? I've been to so many meetings. I'm just being honest. I know this is kind of blasphemous to say, but I've been to so many meetings where I didn't get anything from it. In fact, I went to drive last year, in Las Vegas. And I remember sitting there. I mean, obviously you make that trip. It's 24 hours, basically, to travel from India, 20 hours to get from India to Las Vegas. It's a big time commitment to make. And I remember sitting on the plane back and thinking, what did I get out of this meeting? And I was trying to just justify my presence in the meeting. And I realized, the main thing I got out of the trip was that I bought a new pair of jeans in America. And it's like a very expensive pair of jeans. I've got a point. Don't worry. I'm not saying that it was not worth attending the meeting. It was worth for me to attending that meeting. But sitting on the plane back, I was trying to think, what did I get out? Okay, John Maxwell's book, Leadership Theory. I knew all the stuff he already spoke about. I've read at least, he has written more than 20 books. I must have read at least 15 of his books. So everything he said, I already knew. So when he spoke about it, it's like, yeah, I know that already. And, I came back to India and kind of feeling it was a little bit of a waste of time. It was good for my group to be there. The meetings is mainly for our group, we think. We sit in the weekend seminar and it's like, I hope he gets it. Be harder. Hammer it in. They don't get it. So it's never for us. It's always for someone else. But I remember coming back and then I going through my notes. And then I started to realize that there are a few things that I heard in that meeting that I already knew, but I am not applying it, I'm not doing it. So I'm going to speak about 3 things that I realized that I already know because I did it in the past, but I didn't apply it. So I'm going to just, this whole talk is about 3 points, not more points. I know I have another CD that was released many years back from a talk in US, which was 8 points. So this is only going to be 3 points. Sorry to disappoint you. But for me, it made a very big difference. So my story in the business is basically, I came to India, I didn't know anyone, built our whole business from people we didn't know, from prospects. I qualified the platinum very quickly. How did I do that? I put on 30 personals quickly when I arrived in the market. And from that, I got my 3 legs from Emerald, qualified platinum very quickly, set the goal for Emerald the next year, which I realized 3 months into the fiscal year would not happen. So I went through that year. It was still a Founders Platinum, Executive Platinum. Next year again, I had a goal for Emerald. I missed it. Kind of halfway through, enthusiasm dropped. In fact, I remember going to, when I was recognized for Executive Platinum, there was a Go Diamond in Bali. And I remember going up on stage, and I'd heard on one of the CDs, I think it was Amgad Gabriel, who said that if he wouldn't go diamond, you would find him in a pool of blood. So I went up when I was recognized for Executive Platinum and said, if I'm not an emerald in Bali, you will find me in a pool of blood. And then, of course, I was not an emerald by Bali. So I had to debate, it was like an ethical dilemma. Should I have integrity and do what I said? And I realized I'm too self-preserving for doing that. So I was kind of hiding in that Good Diamond Valley meeting, and I was just hoping that all the Indian leadership would not remember this pool of blood statement when I was hiding with platinums in the back rows. But you see, then I went to Emerald the year after that. And then, of course, what do you do after you go Emerald? You set a goal to go Diamond. I've got a point with this. So 2002, I went Emerald. 2003, I didn't go Diamond. 2004, I didn't go Diamond. 2005, I didn't go Diamond. 2006, I went Diamond. But I always set 1 year goal. And then, when I now look back, I realized there was 3 errors in my goal setting. And then I went Diamond, and we moved overseas. And then it's kind of, you have to have goals in this business. So I have had goals in my business. We spent minimum time working in our business in the 8 years we're gone. But I did enough to be responsible because, I figured out how much time I had to spend in the business, and I spent exactly that much time. So I had kind of a bigger goal, but my real goal was just like, let the business get stable, let it get better. And I just want to spend as little time as possible working the business. That was my goal. No regrets. I did a lot of other things. I'm very happy about how I spent my time. But I always had the goal to go Executive Diamond, even during the 8 years I was gone. So in the beginning of the fiscal year, it was always like, it's theoretically possible to go Executive Diamond, even with so little time investment. So I always used to set that as a goal, plan out how it could happen. And then, of course, it didn't happen because I was not ready to pay the price. So 3 errors in my goal setting, I realize now. The first error is to set goals without being aware of and willing to pay the price. Again, I'm just telling everyone something that you already know. It's quite obvious. But when we set the goal, it's very important to figure out what is the price that has to be paid. And that's quite simple. But then we have to also ask ourselves the questions, are we ready to pay that price? And I was not ready to pay the price. I shouldn't have set the goal in the first place. So, are we ready to pay the price? Number 2 error was that my goals were very often based on downline performance. And again, in this business, it doesn't really work like that. The best goals are goals that depends on what I can do. And that that are based on things that I'm in control of doing. So it was goals that were based on downlines doing certain things and, the sun and the moon and the stars lining up in a perfect shape, and then it will click. But it normally doesn't happen like that in life. And the final error I realized I made, all these years, even up to Diamond, I always set 1 year goals because I never really planned for longer than 1 year. When I was a Platinum, my goal was to go Emerald. When I was an Emerald, my goal was to go Diamond. And I realize now the importance of setting goals that are not just 1 year goal. Because if you set a 3 year goal and you really plan out the 3 year goal and work backwards, for example, you have a very exciting trip. coming up next fiscal year. So, you know, everyone in this room, obviously, I'm sure, have a goal to qualify for that trip. And you should. If you start working now, if you are ready to pay the price now and you know what the price you have to pay is now, it's a right goal for most people in this room to set the goal to be in the Dubai trip. But it's also very important to set goals that goes beyond that. What about the following fiscal year and what about the year after that? Because if you work backwards, you realize 3 years from now, you can have something big in this business. Not just a trip to Dubai, not just a platinum income. You can have something big 3 years from now. And I missed out on that for some reason. So I got back from the Las Vegas trip. We had just moved back to India before that. And the penny kind of dropped. And I realized, you know, coming to every meeting religiously, sometimes the meeting you don't think you get anything out of is the meeting you really need. Could be the same with this weekend seminar. Could be the same with this meeting coming up after this. But the penny really dropped for me. And I realized that I did not have any clear dreams at all. My only dream was, it makes logical sense to put time into this business now. You know, if I, with all my knowledge in this business, if you, with the knowledge you have in this business, become committed and put time into it, obviously it's going to work. So my dream was I already had most of the things I want. Of course I want to make more money. Everyone wants to make more money. Sure. I have financial goals and I'm excited about making more money. There are many things we want to do. But in terms of overall comfort level in my life, I already have as much time as I want to spend with my family already. We already have more holidays than we possibly can enjoy because we just want to be in India and work the business. And we have so many holidays already. It's there. So that is not really a pull. Financially, we earn more money from this business than we spend every month. We have a fantastic lifestyle, comfortable lifestyle. So I realized I don't have any dreams, any clear dreams that pulls me. So you need to know what it is that drives you. I realized I don't have a clear 3-year goal at all. I know this business will be big. I know that it will grow. I know that it's worth putting time, effort into it. I love the process of just achieving and winning in this business. But it's not enough. I needed to be more clear on that. And I also remember one statement that John Maxwell made, that again I had read in his books before. But he said, what got you here will keep you, what got you there will keep you here. And, I remember him saying that, and it's just like, yeah, sure, I know that. But then I started to think, what got me here is actually what will keep me here. I need to grow personally. So I started to get serious about looking at some areas that I needed to focus on. And I realized that if I would just start to get serious about a few areas in my life and on an everyday basis, consistently, like a machine, putting time into these areas, 3 years from now, the compound effect of that will be dramatic. Kevin spoke about compounding, and that's something everyone knows. He even mentioned that. We all know what happens if you start to save even small amounts at an early age and what a dramatic impact it will have later. Do you know the compounding effect in this business of doing the right, menial, simple basics over and over again on a daily basis? Things that are very easy to do, things that are also very easy not to do. You know the compounding effect of missing to show the plan tomorrow. That means you have to show the double amounts of plans, maybe on the next day, to make up for the day you lost. And the plans you lost tomorrow will never come back again. You will never maybe get those opportunities again. So I started to realize, if I get serious about just having discipline in a few areas of my life for the next 3 years, I can predict what will happen in the next 3 years. And same for you in your life. So the areas I just wrote down was number 1, God, which is most important for me, family. And then I wrote down personal growth. I wrote down goals and dreams. And then in terms of the business, 2 quality appointments in depth every single day in the business. So I'm going to skip the 2 first areas. I'm just going to focus on the last 3. So number 1, personal growth. By the way, if you're not in the level in the business that you want to be right now, it's because you have made choices not to be there. Really. It's a very harsh statement to make. But it really comes down to choices we made 2 years back where we are today. And it really comes down to small choices we make on an everyday basis that dramatically affect the future later. So personal growth. We came back to India. We moved to a beautiful place in a suburb, 20 minutes away from the city, 30 minutes away from the city. And when we shifted away from India 8 years back, I just put all the books I read up to diamond in boxes in my office, because we have a separate office. And I just said, okay, good. I made an office in our home, like a home office, and I just wanted to have a big bookshelf with all my books there. So I just, went to the office to pick up my books. And I realized that's a lot of books. I mean, I had to go like 3 times back and forth to get my books there. Box after box. I unpacked this box. It was at least 300-400 books, at least. That that doesn't include all the books that I lent to downlines that never came back. Have you ever lent a book to anyone? They never come back. So all my best books were gone. But it was like 300-400 books. And I realized, wow, I read this many books. So I remember at Platinum, I got serious about going Emerald and Diamond. And I heard everyone speaking about the importance of reading, personality growth, thinking differently. So I just developed the habit of reading. I don't like to read, but I developed a habit. And I read at least 300 books between Platinum and maybe 1 year before Diamond. And then when I went Diamond, what did I do? I stopped reading, obviously. Who likes to read that much? We moved to Thailand. I was on the beach. I was on the RB program. I mean, it's not like I stopped being on the recommended book program. But I remember, I'm just being honest here, remember getting the RB, when I got back to India on my trips. Take one look at it. The title doesn't really appeal to me. Back cover. Second question is, who wrote it? Never heard about this person before. She's running a crisis center for single mothers. And she's running a dog farm on part-time basis, and she has written a book on personality development. No, not for me. So I used to just look at the front cover of if I didn't like the title, I wouldn't read the book. So I was on the RB program, but I was not reading the RBs. I don't know how many books I would have read over the last 7 years when we were retired. Not many. Because I didn't have a real reason to keep growing. So I stopped reading books. I read my Bible a lot and other things, but I didn't read any books. So I kind of stopped growing in that area. So when I shifted all these books from one place to another place, I realized, hey, I'm not reading very much. And I made the decision. And I said, I will start reading 45 minutes every single day. 45 minutes. Now, that's not what you need to do. Maybe a little bit less. But 45 minutes, what's the big deal? 45 minutes per day is about 30, 40 pages for me. I'm a slow reader. That means I go through 1 book per week. That's 4 books per month. That's 50 books per year. That's going to be, minimum. 50 books per year compared to 2 or 3. What's the impact of that? Can I just get a picture? Okay, so this is the books that I read from the time I made my decision to start reading in September to now. That's 9 months. That's 26 books. Now, I should have read more than 30, so I'm behind. But I'm 4 books behind instead of 25 books behind. So you see, how did this happen? It happened by setting aside, this is me in my office, 45 minutes per day. Now it's a habit. I read 45 minutes every day. Do I miss some days? Sure. But some days I make up for it. I started to read some new books, reading some other books, Slight Edge. Everyone here has read before. I read that book too, and I loved the book. But I didn't really get it. I read it again. I've read that book at least 4 or 5 times in the last 9 months. I have underlined, I've started to understand it. And it just reinforced what I already knew. I knew that it's important to show the plan every day. But I never really understood how important it is to do it on a consistent basis and what happens if I don't do it. If I don't do it today, I miss today. And it's hard to make up for it tomorrow. So I started to read, and these are the books. How big is that stack of books going to be 3 years from now if I keep this up? It's going to go up to the roof. How does it happen? 45 minutes per day. Now, what's the impact on my thinking? What's the impact? I started to see immediate results. We came back with a bang, started to show the plan, got a lot of rejection. I sponsor like 10 or 12 people. All of them are complete idiots. I mean, with all my experience in this business, all my people skills, all my big ambitious goal, because you see, I know I've been counseling my group now for 8 years. See, I love counseling, by the way. It's fantastic. Just wait until you get to a point that you can give counseling. It's wonderful. It's great to sit and tell people what they already know and what you already know without having to do it yourself. Or, sponsor 20 frontline. Easy to say, not easy to do. So then I gave that advice. You need to read more. How many CDs do you listen to every day? 1. Double it. Make it 2. 2 CDs. How many plans did you show last month? 12. 12. Make it 20. Good. Next. So it's very easy to portion out this grand advice. And then I came back and I know that my group doesn't really need, it's not going to work with me sitting and portioning out this pearls of wisdom, telling people what they already hear on every CD, what they already know. I need to do it myself. I mean, I'm not going to get new legs, dealing with new people that way. It doesn't work. So I knew that. So I started to work full on and got a lot of rejection. I expected at least 1 out of 10 to be active in the business. And, here comes a person who's got like almost 20 years experience from this business. I know what I'm doing. I'm willing to help you free of cost, blah, 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 blah. And they are not very impressed. It's like the value they would place on my so-called wisdom and time is, so low that they, would not even want to meet me after the first appointment. So I got, and my thinking started to get wrong with all this. And, I started to realize I cannot handle negatives very well. It's like, sometimes you sit down with an idiot, sorry for using that word, but an idiot from the point of view of not understanding our point of view. And I'm sitting down there, he's, he makes in a month, I make in a month what he makes in a year. And at the end of my follow-up with him, it's like, oh, you're a good salesman. Thank you. And I've got the downline with me. So I cannot really, so I said, thank you. He said, you are great, but I don't think that I would like to do what you are doing. Exactly. So then I couldn't hold it back. So I said, so what am I doing? Well, you go to people like me who don't really need this business and you try to convince them to do something they don't want to do. Exactly. Sorry. It's very tempting in that moment. I mean, I could just make a comparison. Hey, let's compare our lives here. Let's start with time. Who has most time? You leave, what are your working hours? You spend 4 hours in the Bombay traffic every day. I don't. Let's speak about assets. Let's speak about health. You need to lose about 40 kilos. You are a prime candidate for blood pressure and your wife already has knee joint problems at age 38. Let's compare health here, Yeah, shall we make a comparison? Shall we make a comparison between our children? How much time they get with their father? Shall we calculate per day how much time you spend with your child and I? Shall we compare that? Shall we compare the overall happiness index? I promise I come out on top. Shall we compare, my shirt cost more than your whole wardrobe. My shoes is a month's salary for you, okay? Shall we compare? Now, unfortunately, it doesn't work in this business. It doesn't work. So I have to sit there. Yes. And, so it doesn't work. That's how you have to just swallow your pride, swallow your ego in this business and just keep going. So, personal growth. My thinking started to get affected. I started to read. I started to listen to see this deliberately again. Impact it had, dramatic. And all the books just say the same thing, You read autobiographies of people who have succeeded. You realize it was a process for them to succeed. You want to be successful, double your failure rate. Fail more. Get more rejection. Do more bad plans. Drive far. By the way, if you go out and show the plan, it's better if the appointment is far away from your home. I have some leaders in my group. They only do local appointments in the beautiful little suburb. And they have their whole group there and they never venture out of their area. Never. I mean, one new guy called me up and said, just 3 days ago, I got a prospect in so-and-so place. Can you go and see him? Because this is a new group I'm working in. And he's used to the way he edifies me and Pramilla to his group is, this is Staffen and Pramilla. They are wonderful. They are always available. I can call them any time of the day. They will do what I want. If I want the toothpaste, I snap my finger. Staffan will be at my doorstep with the toothpaste. So that's how kind of he edifies me to his friends. So he calls me up and says, can you go and see my prospect in so-and-so area? I said, okay, why don't you see him? Because I already have a good spot under him now. So I'm changing my communication a little bit with this guy because there is some security. So he said, oh, it's 1 hour away from me. I said, it's 1.5 hours away from me. And he was like, and? So you see, but the farther away your appointment is, the more serious you will get when you do the appointment. So I started to just change my thinking, personality growth, and I started to read. That was the first thing I changed dramatically. Now, number 2 point is about goals. And I know a lot about goal setting already, but I got serious about applying goal setting. I got serious about writing down my goals. One of the books here is the book here. Wow, I've not even put it here. So that means it's 27 books. It's a here it is. Goals by Brian Tracy. That book you have read. I read that book too. It was an RB for us in India many years back. And in chapter 13 of that book, he spoke about writing down your goals. And it's like, I have heard about, look at your goals every day. I've never had the discipline to look at my goals every day, ever, honestly. I've made a goal card, but I've never been consistent carrying it around, looking at it. So he had a chapter on write down your goals every day. You see, you don't need to write down your goals. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that was a style or a method that worked for me to look at my goals every day. So I said, okay, he says that's so important. This guy knows a lot about goal setting. What if I would start to write down my goals from memory every day? Just in present tense, positive statements, like affirmation type of things. By the way, affirmations is great, but I'm not a great, I have this outstation guy who is an ELC, has been in the business for a long, long time. And I go about once a year to that place. And he showed me his affirmations, which was basically, I'm rich, I'm happy, the universe provides unlimited funds for me every month. All this, stuff that you read in some books. So I don't think that affirmations works if you do it that way. I think it's Jim Rohn who said that affirmations without action is the beginning of delusion. And it's really true. So I told this guy, I've got a good relationship with him, so I could be honest. I told him, can I give you some affirmations to write down instead that I think will work better for you? He said, yes, give it to me. Because basically the idea is, if all I have to do is to just write down positive statements, I don't need to do anything in the business. And the universe will just change things for me automatically. So I said, okay, write down, I am broke. I'm miserable. My family doesn't respect me. My life is an absolute nightmare. I have no money. It's true, he has no money. I have no money. I look at myself as a complete loser. My health is poor. I am poor. Everything about me is horrible. I hate my life. I said, write that down every day for 30 days. He said, why should I write that down? Then it will come true. I said, it is already true. Get the point. That's where you're at. He said, yes, you're right. I said, stop this foolishness, of writing down, standing in front of the mirror and smiling every day. I'm happy. How will it make you happy that you smile? Or it will trigger off emotional responses in the brain and you will fool yourself that you really are happy. You're a nutcase in that case. You are not happy and you trigger off some of the responses to the brain telling yourself I'm rich and happy when you are not. That's just delusion. So be careful. Goal setting, that is not goal setting. Goal setting is be clear on what you want, have a strategy for how to achieve it, and be ready to put in the action to do it. You must be ready to put in the work. The goals will not happen otherwise. If it would work any other way, I would have been Crown Ambassador long back because I want to be a Crown Ambassador. Trust me. I would have sat down on the beach every day and done as many affirmations that was needed to make it happen. It doesn't work that way. So, goal setting. So I got serious about writing down my goals every day, and that includes action things that I will do on a daily basis. I realized I don't have really clear goals on what I want. Many of the things I want already, I have. I have time with my family. The income from this business is extremely stable and reliable for us. I know that I will keep making more money as we move up in this business. We just added a new leg to our business that gives us significant income extra. We are setting up for bigger levels in the business. That will come, but I have no clear goals on what I really wanted, I realized. I'm not motivated to build this business to buy a new car. It never motivated me, never will motivate me, I thought. But I thought I have to have something that was, so I went to the Jaguar showroom, test drove a Jaguar, went to the Maserati showroom, test drove a Maserati. Then I step into my BMW and I start to feel like an absolute loser. I hate my car. It's good. I realized, why not? Why not buy something else? Why not have more? I need things that motivates me. So I started to do things deliberately, to dream build and started to want things more. Again, 3-year goals. I started to think about how do I want my business to look 3 years from now? And you know what? That gave me incredible power to do things right now, today. Because if I don't do something today, it affects my goal, which is big, 3 years from now. Set 3-year goals. Work it into your strategy of this fiscal year as well. Even if Q6 is his goal, what's the goal beyond that? How much money do you want to make? How will your lifestyle look? How will your health be? Think about it 3 years from now. It takes very little time to do this. But goal setting is hard work and most people resist doing it, including me. We are so happy to be in our comfort zone. No one wants to grow. No one wants to stretch. It's not automatic. It's automatic for a tree, but I'm not a tree. Really, growth is automatic for a plant. All it needs is water and sun. It grows upwards. A human being growth is not automatic. Why? Because we have a free will. A tree doesn't have free will. We can choose. I can choose to sit home and watch the TV. We have TVs in our house. I have a very comfortable life. I can sit down and watch movies every single night. And it will not make any difference today. But if I do it every single day, repeatedly, over and over again, the compound effect of doing that is catastrophic long term. But I make choices whether to grow, whether not to grow. Every day. Today matters. So I started to look at goal setting, financial goals. This is another reason goal setting is important. 1 second. I came in the wrong order here. Okay, this is the view from our house where we stay now. This is on the 18th floor. You can see the Arabian Sea behind us. Now, I know that you are used to this type of thing if you stay in Cape Town, etc. So, you know, I'm not competing with you. I can't. But in Bombay, this is as good as it possibly gets. Trust me, if you have been to Bombay, this is a dream. We have this is our terrace we have a duplex condo, like 2 floors. This is our balcony. It's big enough to have 80, 100 people over for dinner if you want to. This is sea we have. We have breakfast here in the morning. It's only sea. And we see South Bombay far away in the background. This is at night. It's beautiful. Just looking out, it's so much peace. I mean, it's as good as it gets in this part of the world. Trust me. So, at about 6:10, 6:20, the sunset comes. I wish I could show you a picture. It's beautiful. Every night we get, when it's not monsoon, we get this beautiful, spectacular sunset at night. And it's very tempting to why not just enjoy the sunset every night? No, I can if I want. And then I have a home meeting booked in a place 2 hours away. And I know it's going to be a bad home meeting because I have not set it up properly. But it's an important spot where I work. And about 10 minutes before I'm about to leave, the phone rings and it's him. And part of me is like, yes. There can only be one reason why this guy calls me, by the way. It's not to tell me, oh, we've got too many people coming to the home meeting. How to get more chairs? So I know exactly why he's calling. And there's a voice inside of me that says, yes, the sunset, the dinner with the girls, great. Hello. And, you know, oh, no one is coming. My wife has got this problem, you know, the neighbor, there's a riot happening in the city, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's exactly what part of me want to hear. Because, you know, honestly, why should I waste my time driving and doing an unsuccessful home meeting when I instead could spend time with my family and just enjoy life? Anyhow, I'm not going to get any results from that meeting. So it's almost like, thank God you called me now and not later, because I would have just wasted 4 hours of my life doing something that is predictably going to be absolutely unproductive. Forget it. So that's what you think when you don't have a goal. Then you hang up. Okay, great. No problem. Come to the business preview next week. We'll speak about it. Don't worry. This is part of the business. Just use some of the products and listen to a CD. You'll be fine. That's what you do when you don't have a goal. And then you go back and you have dinner with your family. You feel like a winner. I did not travel all the way to this loser follow-up meeting or home meeting. But when you have a goal, it's like, okay, no problem. I'm anyhow there already. I'll see you in an hour. And then you leave and you go on to the meeting. That's what happens when you have a goal. When your goal is clear, you take low percentage chances. It's a low percentage chance. But if you don't see that person who's canceling face to face, he is gone from the business. He needs me there that evening. And it's worth the 1.5 hour drive. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. In this case, it was not. I went, it was not. Looking back now, look, history will reveal it was not worth it. But I ended up hearing CDs on the way. I drop in at someone else in that area. Move out. So goals is what pulls you to do things that normally the average people will not do. You know what the secret to success is in our business or anywhere? If you're just willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do on a consistent basis, then you'll be successful. It's not that you're doing things that unsuccessful people cannot do. They are not willing to do it because it's menial and uncomfortable to do it. So every time you do something which is uncomfortable and you know that it's something that majority are not prepared to do, you feel like a winner and it builds your self-respect, it builds your self-image, it builds your confidence that you can do this business and you learn. So that's what happens when you have a goal. It pulls you to do things that most other people are not prepared to do. And since most other people are not prepared to do them, they will not get the results that this business can give. But you are different. That's why you are in this room. Goals, clear goals, is a magnet that pulls you to do the right actions on a daily basis. And if you do the right actions for a daily basis, just like the person who reads 10 pages of a book every day, that's 10 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of reading. 10 pages per day is 10, 15 books per year. Personality growth. 20 minutes per day. It's just a matter of having the discipline to do a few things on a daily basis. So that brings me to my final point. So point number 3 is 2 quality appointments or whatever number you can do every single day. Now look how ridiculous this business is. I am having huge goals for the next 3 years. And I figured out with my strategy, if I do 2 quality appointments every day, that could be a home meeting, it could be a startup. It obviously doesn't include counseling or meeting someone who is in the business already. 2 quality appointments with new people every day. I'll be dramatically successful 3 years from now. 2 per day. It's ridiculous. Now, some of you can do much more than that. Really. But I have limitations in Bombay. The traffic is a mess. It takes time. And I'm speaking about quality appointments. I do more some days. But on average, I want to do 15 per week. If I do that consistently, if you do that consistently, you'll have an empire when it compounds over a period of time. 2 per day, 3 per day, 4 per day, whatever you can do. 1 per day is a lot. Most people don't do 1 appointment per day in this business. That's why they're not successful. If you do more on a consistent basis, excellent. When we go outstation, we have outstation groups. We do a lot. Pramilla works the outstation groups we have, my wife, because of language limitations, I'm just completely unrelatable. I cannot communicate. So she handles most of our outstation groups now. So she takes it very easy throughout the week. She goes on an outstation trip twice a month for 2 to 3 days each trip. And she does like 10, 12, 13, 14 appointments in one day on those trips because it's in smaller places where it's easy to move around. But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying do 10 appointments in one day. I say do 2, do 1, do something. But do it on a consistent basis. Most people are deceived and they think that they have this quantum leap theory. They want the big deal. They want the easy solution. That big break never comes if you don't do the small things right on a daily basis. So do consistent daily action. That's my point. And we started to prospect people, self-discipline on prospecting. I don't like prospecting. I'm doing it anyhow. Stop management, of the group. And I'll just show you a picture. This is a very high-tech method I'm using for tracking my activity level in terms of signing up personals. Now, check with your upline. Maybe I'm wrong, but probably I'm not, and probably they will agree with me in most cases. You need to add some more personals. Consistently being a pay setter or a double pay setter, why not set the goal to add 15 to 20 new personals? Not end of next fiscal year, start now. So we set the goal, we'll add 20 front lines, personals. Fine, we'll do it. So I developed a very sophisticated method. It involves some technology and other things, but most people here probably have access to these things that you need. And this helps me a lot to actually track what I'm doing. So I'm going to show you my sophisticated system for doing this. This is a fridge, okay? So first of all, you need a fridge at home, a refrigerator. If you have that, you can do this. Otherwise, I don't know how you'll do it. You have to find a wall or something. So it's a fridge. And on the fridge, I have, with great pains, made this beautiful sheet. You cannot read the names, it doesn't matter. But this is from 13th of July to 29th of September, 21 from personals added, okay? This is how I track it. It's just up there in the fridge. Every time someone signs up, they go on that, and I'm going to get to 20. Track yourself, measure yourself, remind yourself, and then you will do the necessary action on a daily basis to make it happen. You can use this, you can use another way. The quicker you do it now, the better and more comfortable it will be for the next fiscal year. So check Apply on this. But one of the things you could do to move ahead quicker in the business and set up for the huge trip you have coming up, if you want to be at that, is to just add personals. And that's exactly what we did. And we still do it. And we are going to keep doing it for as long as we have to do it. And when we don't have to do it anymore, we'll take another break. But don't try to negotiate the price. The price to pay in this business is very, very small compared to the rewards you get. I put in massive effort in spurts in this business. It was not even consistent. In spurts, one fiscal year, super focused, getting the goal done. And it's given us a lifestyle that is absolutely tremendous. And, you know, you have leadership here, you see it yourself, but you can do exactly the same thing, but it comes down to what are you going to do today? Are you going to be consistent? Identify a couple of areas in your life where you have a small change of daily routines, where you do a few things that other people are not prepared to do, and this business will really work for you in a big way. Thank you.
While the techniques and approaches